Okay, so I'm doing this really quickly because I'm looking at the time and I have to actually run to class and it's snowing, so I need a little extra time. But my friend Megan posted on Twitter a link to this amazing article that I think should be read by people who enjoy literature. The link is in the, it's this way. The link is in the sidebar to the article that she posted. It is a blog spot on Stephen King, and it's going to be in USA Today's Weekend. I don't know if it's a magazine or if it's their circular, I'm not sure. But in it, Stephen King is quoted as saying, he's talking about, he was asked, has his mainstream work paved the way for other mainstream authors to become more popular? And he's asked about, of course, J.K. Rowling and Stephanie Meyer, because they just need to be quantified for whatever reason. Another thing that kills me, I can't stand them having to be quantified. But in it, he says something to the very well effect, because hang on, I'll read it completely. He says, I think that I serve that purpose for some writers, the purpose of showing writers the way. And that's a good thing. Both Rowling and Meyer, they speak directly to young people. The real difference is that Jo Rowling is a terrific writer and Stephanie Meyer can't write worth a darn. She's not very good. Which, obviously, in the comments, people were like, I've lost all respect for Stephen King, and I love the Twilight series. They speak to me. Which kills me. The Twilight series speaks to me. Why? Because you're a 17-year-old girl that has met a vampire. You are a flat character who does nothing but idolize a pretty-looking boy who worships the ground you walk on, because to him you smell like a big cheese pizza. I identify with the Twilight books. Gets me every time. Not to say I don't, and I've said this before. I love the Twilight books. They are highly entertaining. I've read them numerous times. I stood up for Breaking Dawn over the summer, put my own neck on the line. They're not well written. They're not well written at all, and people can't separate that. And I've read Stephen King since I was this big. I've always been into things that are dark, things that are scary, things that are gory in particular. I love, love, love. And so I read Stephen King from a young age. And the reason I think Stephen King is a good writer, though some people don't like his writing, that's the difference. Good writing and bad writing and just not liking something. Stephen King, I think you need to be a good author to be able to write something like Dreamcatcher, which was or Cell. Both of those were newer books of his, and both of them are incredibly gory and very, very weird. Then you have something like The Shining. The Shining's not very gory at all. There is a few gory scenes. Or Hearts in Atlantis, or The Green Mile, which were novellas, or The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. Just really beautifully written stories, where the focus is not the gore, where the focus is the suspense, and his art and his words are always very colorful, and they're always very long stream, and he's actually influenced, I write for fun a lot, and he's influenced the way I know I write, and also the way I speak, very much so. So I have a lot of respect for Stephen King. Especially because he's not shy about what he does. He often says things like, if I can't go for the good Hitchcock thrill, I will go for the gross out, because that's a way to entertain the readers. And I think it's good of him to stand up like that. He also, and of course the Stephanie Meyer Twilighters are shitting their pants because, oh my god, he said Stephanie's not a good writer, how dare he, Stephen King, a pox on your house. And it's silly. He also calls, I'm looking at the article right now, he also says that Dean Koontz can write well and can write really crappy. James Patterson is a terrible writer, but that's absolutely true. James Patterson's books are not genius. They're fun stories, and he poops one out like once a minute. It's like, oh look, a book by James Patterson. And they're entertaining. I find his Alex Cross novels very entertaining. I found his Maximum Ride and Daniel X very entertaining. They're not well written though, and he was very honest. I've heard James Patterson speak. He's an alumni at my school. He's very honest about it. He just enjoys writing. He's doing, and he just happens. It's like popcorn novels. You know, they're very fun. They're light, and instead of it being romance like the Harlequin romance books, those aren't written well, but they're just fun, light novels. Not all people like romance, so you have fun, light thrillers or fun, light mysteries and stuff like that. And I think Stephanie Meyer's books are fun. They are light. They are not very well written. I thought her host was written better. I think that she did well when she got away from the silliness of Twilight. And granted, she went from the silliness of Twilight to a sci-fi book, but whatever. I just have to say, to any Twilighter who sees this, you need to calm down. Just because somebody says an author you like is not a good writer does not mean you need to get your fucking panties in a bunch and lose it. It's his opinion. If you think she's a good writer, fine, you think she's a good writer. Stephen King, an acclaimed author, does not think she's a good writer, and that's all that matters. Not to mention, why can't you just accept that she might not be a good writer? Why can't you just accept that Twilight is a series you enjoy and you like her work? I said it already. I like James Patterson. What else have I read that's not written well? I'm reading right now a book called My Name is Will by Jess Winfield of the Reduced Shakespeare Company. He's not a great writer, but I think it's fun. It's like these two William Shakespeares, one in the present. He's not the William Shakespeare. His middle name happens to be Shakespeare, and his name's William. It's like William Shakespeare Greenberg and William Shakespeare at 18. I think it's fun because I like Shakespeare. I like seeing Shakespeare at 18. He uses Shakespearean insults, which I think Shakespearean insults are just brilliant. And but it's not the best written thing, but it's highly entertaining, and that's all that matters. I think people need to calm down and just accept that this is literature. Edward Cullen is not real, and it's okay for something you like to be insulted, because everyone's got an opinion. Yours is not the only one that counts, my 15-year-old friend. Oh, I just opened my camera again, and my hair. I look like I had a bit of fun, and it's actually the fault of the snow. Happy snow day to everybody who's snowing. That's my Twilight rant. I wish I had this webcam after I saw the Twilight movie, because if you read my live journal post, you know, I'm going to link to that too, because genius. And you can actually see, like I said, Stephen King influences my writing style. You can see it when I write in my blog posts. Anything I write, I very much am influenced by that. So I guess that's it. Try not to get too inflamed at me.